he would abuse me in front of the women.
And it came crashing down when police caught up with Eligio Bishop. They call him Nature Boy.
I had to willingly engage in these sexual activities to keep myself safe.
Victims of his alleged sex cult are speaking out.
I was still strangled on multiple occasions.
They say once accepted, Bishop forced women to have sex with him. You had to change your name and give up all your money. But some members say it's all a lie.
We know he's innocent. We were there.
But a jury saw it differently. What it was really like being a member of Carbon Nation.
That's interesting to me, because every time you hear about a cult, right, I always wonder, how they get you niggas to join? Right? It's one thing if you're already in a situation and maybe someone can manipulate you, force you, hold your shit hostage, whatever. That's criminal activity. But when the nigga gave you the pitch on to join the cult, and he said, all right, change your name and hand over the bread. Nope, nobody said, hey, wait. No. Nobody raised their hand? Nobody said, what you mean change my name? What you mean hand over my bread? What are you talking about?
What's really got me is the word that she said, willingly. Willingly, meaning you allowed yourself, you made your choice, and you willingly did this. I understand that you had to do it to be safe, but I wouldn't have used that word willingly if it was something that was against my will, which is a crime. Right.
So we have members of the cult saying that didn't happen.
See,
that's interesting.
Stuff like this is very tricky because when cults happen like a lot back in the 90s?
Yeah, 80s, shit like
80s or whatever, like a lot of people put their trust in these people and literally
got manipulated crazily. Especially religiously. But I'm just interested to understand that what was the pitch? I mean, that you decided that you're gonna give up all your money to this person, and after you're in the cult for however long, then you pop out.
Changed your mind.
And say you're doing everything, going along with everything, because there's a lot of shit that, really everything, right? That if you do it, weird as it may be, you're allowed to do it.
You made a choice.
You made a choice. But, like for example, all that stuff in the Cassie lawsuit for Diddy, the key part of all that is the non-consent part. That's the only part that matters. Because if she agreed to have a train ran on her and she wasn't threatened or implicitly threatened or anything like that, then that's not a crime. You decide to be a hoe on your own. Bitches do that shit every day.
Kind of like, what was that? The wrestler guy? He's getting sued too for,
Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
They said he was violating people too. But again,
seems like from the text messages that she was willing.
Right. So it's just like,
there's no hesitation, no resistance.
Right. And it's like people love to change the story after the fact. They love to change the narrative years later and say, I never agreed to that because now you don't like it. But when you started, you agreed to everything. So there needs to be a distinction made from the point where you no longer consented and times where you did. Because you don't just get to say that after 5 years in this cult, the last year something happened to me.
You didn't like it anymore.
So I didn't like it anymore. So I go to the police and whatever, and you say the whole time I was in a cult and I was a victim. That's not fucking true. It's not. You just
changed your mind.
Right. And you're free to do that.
Right.
But when you change your mind, that's when the skullduggery begins.
Because you can't tell them that they did something to you and you be a victim and then make him the criminal or her the criminal, whoever the criminal, just because you changed your mind. You didn't want to be a part of this situation anymore. Because you no longer wanted to do it.
Or because you felt like you felt bad. Whatever the reason is why you change your mind, you can change your mind. Once you change your mind, yes, of course, if someone tries to force themselves on you or threaten you to stay or hold you hostage, any weird shit like that, all that stuff, of course, against your will. But if you just but not everything that ends up in a fucked up scenario is something that was done to you against your will.
By a criminal.
Right. Sometimes you decided to do some dumb shit on your own and fucked your own life up.
Right.
It'd be like that.
And you're ashamed afterwards.
Right.
That's okay. That happens.
But that's not criminal activity.
People just don't think about the long term, the long run of how things are going to end up.
Right. Because there's women in the cult right now that are completely fine about it.
Yeah.
If in 2 years they pop out and say somebody did something to them, wasn't you just in a video saying that he was innocent and you were there, he didn't do nothing? Make up your mind, son. Like, these things are a lot more nuanced and complicated than people want to acknowledge.
Because women are wishy-washy. That's the problem.
Yeah, really.
They need to sit and actually think long term about how this will make them feel. Will they be okay with what the decision that they made
right,
in the long term? Not just go with it because it sounds good currently.
Right. And
that shit is mind-boggling to me. Like, how do you just jump into a situation that it sounds good currently, but then in a long term, it's just like, wait, how will this make me feel? How does it make me look? Will I feel okay with myself at the end?
Right.
Like, I just don't understand how women don't sit and
people
think
pop
about
up
that shit.
15 years later and say, yeah, now somebody found out about that shit. Now I feel like it makes me look bad. So now I'm going to say that you did something to me before, even though it was a choice that you made on your own.
Right.
But let's see what happened.
And why they were told to believe that women are property of men.
Oh no!
The black man is God.
Black man is God. I'm leading by example.
But I'm not gonna lie to you.
Property.
The property thing, but that's not something that was. The property thing is not something that was inflicted on you.
Right.
You agreed to it. He walked in, gave the speech, and you said, yes, I agree. Like, they didn't do anything to you.
That's all I'm doing.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
Somebody in the comments said, why are they investigating? He already in jail. They gave him life? I think I heard they offered him a plea deal of 7 years.
Unity, and kindness. Those are some of the key beliefs of Carbon Nation, a so-called cult that has captivated people online now for years, especially on YouTube, where members have gained popularity for their approach to holistic healing, traveling all over the world and recruiting disciples in the process. Members say their leader, their God, is Nature Boy. His real name is Eligio Bishop. He's a polygamist. He has several wives, and he often leads with spirituality.
I don't want to hear about that, because none of that is illegal. I mean, polygamy is technically illegal, but only if you officially marry more than one person. So you can have as many unofficial wives as you want. So I don't want to hear about how many wives he has or why he thinks women is property. Those aren't the crimes, Shade Room. Like, stop trying to twist people's opinion on what they think about this situation to turn him into a fucking predator. Don't do that. And
because he can live his life as he sees fit.
Right.
As long as he's not hurting anybody.
Right. So what they should have done during their little TSR reports is focus on what they said he did. That was criminal activity. I'm not gonna lie, son, a full-blown retard. Because if you know let's just presume that what they said is true, right? And that he did that shit. If he did that shit, bro, why you ain't take the 7-year fucking plea? You have mad victims, bro. I don't know what's wrong with some of you people, but you need to use common sense and logic. When someone starts saying crazy shit in the 2000s, like women are property and change your name and give me all your money, maybe you shouldn't join the cult. Maybe. Right? Maybe they're going to do some bad shit to you. Maybe. I don't know. Right? Is that not common sense? Is that something that's difficult for people to understand? It's like, I feel like the fucking whole world is full of special ed motherfuckers. Like, what's wrong with you? Why is this not something you couldn't figure out on your own?
If you felt like you didn't have the freedom to come and go as you please, meanwhile still rightfully being with that person that you want to be in and seeing him in the light that he is and so on and so forth, then that's not for you.
Right.
You need to remove yourself and not play a victim or say you're a victim after choosing something.
Right. Everybody's a victim, but no one wants to acknowledge personal choices that they made that put themselves in that scenario. Yep. And don't get on my ass talking about, oh, you victim blaming. I'm not victim blaming, fam. No. I'm not victim blaming. But there's a difference and a distinction that needs to be made between choices that you made and things that people did to you against your will. Right. And just because you feel like you want to jumble them all together doesn't put them all together logically.
Right.
Stop it.